Alright, listen the fuck up. I have said this numerous times, and I will keep saying it until somebody freaking takes this shit seriously. But long story short, somewhere during 2022, starting in the fall, a bunch of people on the third floor of Bailey Hall decided to start harassing me by opening and closing their doors weirdly the day that my Razor scooter was stolen from the park. Followed a police report, but they didn't find it. And then after the bullying started, that spread around campus to the point where professors and just staff members were joining in on it. In addition to that, people were treating me weirdly and acting like I was a dangerous individual. In addition to that, people were going out of their way trying to do shit to provoke me, to bait reactions out of me, more than likely, so that they could use those reactions against me and add to whatever lies that were spreading behind me, behind closed doors. Now, during this time, I was going to therapy and everything. Like, had a counselor outside of UNCG that I was talking to, but I was doing so well that I stopped going to the appointments and stuff. Then I did group therapy, and I didn't really talk much, but I went to that. And then I did DBT therapy, and I had no problems with that. And in fact, that was probably the best thing that I freaking did out of all of them. But anyways, let me go keep on what I was saying. But during that, people kept on bullying and harassing me. In addition to that, school staff kept following me around campus using their vehicles and stuff. In addition to that, whenever I would come back from class and open my dorm, the door to the dorm, a vehicle would pass by as if they were making sure I wasn't going in, because this would happen at night, where I would go in and then the vehicle would just drive off as soon as I entered in. And then on another occasion, a police officer did the same thing. And then on another occasion, I was just sitting on a swing randomly, and then the next thing I noticed, there was a police officer parked right up at the swing monitoring me. Like, they weren't even trying to fucking hide it. They were just right up there. And then there was another time, there was one that was parked up further up. So somebody had to have made up some bullshit about me and either doing something to someone or saying something to someone. But like I said, if something serious had happened, nobody addressed that shit with me. And then if it was serious, then there should be some type of public allegations on it. But none of that has happened, so I'm not taking any of that shit seriously. Somebody just probably had some type of issue with me, and then could not freaking address it directly because they know I wasn't doing anything wrong. So then they decided to just make up a bunch of shit around me, and because they had power and influence, they probably convinced a bunch of other people to join in on that. And then somehow, which just the thing is, this either had to have come from someone with power and influence, which makes me believe that it was either a school staff or a police officer, which I'm leaning towards a police officer considering the resources and the amount of people who are involved in this, because when I moved back home after I finished my classes, neighbors and stuff started joining in on this, to the point where I have years worth of evidence to prove my point, because it's not just random occurrences. Like, I can prove that this is a pattern of behavior done by a group of people, and I believe the correct terminology of it is mobbing, which is predominantly in workplaces, which in my case is abnormal because this happened on a college campus, and it was spread back home. And the only other case that I know for sure similar to this would be the Rick and Cindy Curlicks, which they have a website, I think it's called Small Town Terrorism or something like that, and there's even an ABC News video on it somewhere. But anyways, all I'm trying to say is that there's a group of freaking people that have been trying to work against me for, I don't know, like at least since 2022 that I know of. And there's a group of people that seem to be trying to provoke me to the point where I either do something that lands me in jail, a mental institution, or they are continuing to make false allegations against me, and based on the accusation, well, based on the treatment I've received, and based on some of the numerical, aspects of the harassment, it seems like somebody accused me of possibly freaking doing what EDP 445 did, or meeting up with minors, because, like I said, the 445 part is part of the numerical harassment. But like I said, I'm not gonna take time to explain that, because, like I said, I've already explained that numerous times. And like the way that the harassment operates is the more you try to explain it, the more crazier you fucking sound. And like I said, I have enough evidence to prove my freaking points, and I've already broken down how the harassment works in other videos. So that's just refer to that. Anyways, said, well, I will just repeat what I was saying before. Like I said, it's not a good thing to have a group of people trying to harass an individual, especially off of incorrect or false information. Because, like I said, if the accusations had any merit, they would be freaking public. Because why is it that celebrities and all these other people who have drama happen have all their stuff public, and then have all their stuff posted on YouTube and TikTok and stuff with people making video essays on them, but whatever I fucking did is fucking silent? Like, they've already contacted businesses and had them join in on this bullshit. So, like I freaking said, they're just trying to make it or create a situation where these people can constantly freaking harass me and try to provoke me, but then I have no way of taking action against them, because I've already contacted at least 5 or 6 lawyers, and between them not being able to take that type of case, being just not hearing back from it at all, like, there's something fishy going on about this. And I've already reported this to the FBI a while back, and then I have not freaking heard anything back. So they're either complicit or freaking involved somehow, or just fucking ignored my case. Either fucking way, there's some fucking weird shit going on, and I have enough fucking evidence to fucking prove it. It's just a matter of getting into the right situation that freaking where somebody who actually has some fucking sense will freaking sit down to try to fucking go through the freaking evidence. But even then, like I said, I don't freaking know who was like who made the accusations and how far their reach is. And so for all I know, they could have contacted lawyers around here to try to prevent that, or prevent me from finding one by trying to make up shit about me before I can even contact them. But like I said, I'm not fucking worried about it. I know I didn't fucking do anything that would fucking warrant any of this bullshit. So like I freaking said, like, the truth is going to come out freaking eventually.
put your desires